today we are at Computec Media Group, and we are talking to another pioneer, Hans Ippisch, CEO, right?
Correct.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you, Jörg.
Thank you for taking the time. So you actually started out as a gamer, of course, and
yes.
then as a coder for Rainbow Arts, and then you wrote for several magazines, and now you are CEO of Computec Media Group. So what happened since the last in the last 2 years since we spoke the last time?
What happened in the last 2 years? Well, I think there is always a lot going on the part regarding gaming. We have VR now. We have new platforms regarding the business at Computec Media Group, which is always changing. We are, for the first time ever in 2016, less than 50% of our revenues have been made with print magazines, and more than 50% are coming from the digital business, on the event business. So, for example, at the Computec Media Group, we are doing now Gamescom with our Rubo events here at Gamescom for the first time, the official developer conference. And basically, we are always moving on, and actually, I'm already looking forward when the next PlayStation will be announced.
Okay.
Because I've read a headline just 2 days ago that Sony will announce something new. Of course, they won't announce the next PlayStation right now, but how old is PlayStation 4 now? It's 4 years already, I think.
I guess, yeah.
4 or 5 years. So it's already time for the next console. Well, we have PlayStation Pro and all that stuff, but but still, with the PlayStation 4 at home, it still feels like a new console. So I would say it's as dynamic as always here in this business, and every day new things are going on, and retro is still alive.
Even stronger than ever.
Even absolutely, and so I had a few lectures at universities, and the funny thing is, usually I tend to, when I take a look back at the history of gaming, I tend to make it quite short, to have only a screenshot of Blue Max, for example. But one professor in Bayreuth told me, no, just keep it there, because it's really interesting for the students, because they actually don't know it at all. So for them it's much, so basically if I show you a GIF of Blue Max, you would say, well, I know this. So I usually tend to skip forward. But for them, it's something they haven't seen before. So that's really interesting. And also, I heard an interesting story last year from Frank Watzke at Cinemax, and he told me when they had the premiere of the new Doom game, that they were inviting a few journalists to London to take a look at the new Doom. And the funny thing is, they didn't know anything about Doom, because they have been born after the first Doom has been released, and it's like, what is Doom? It's like so basically that's something we have to we should realize this, and it's so long ago that it's for many people it's something completely new. So and also every Thursday we had a show fix with Bio and Carl Messi about DEFCON, and the business keynotes and the public keynotes we have at DEFCON this year. And as you probably know, we have Richard Garriott coming as a speaker to a keynote, and we were thinking about, well, Richard Garriott, everybody knows Richard Garriott, but to be true, there are many people out there that don't know Richard Garriott. They don't know what Ultima is or all that stuff. It's like, Richard, what is this? So we have to be careful that not only people 40 years and older are happy about it, and all the rest is like, Richard Garriott? I have never heard of him. So
that means that retro hype changed a bit your work at the Computec Media Group and how you view the world and how you organize as a DevCom and so on, because you have to put into consideration what you know is not what the current generation knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a knowledge gap you have to fill.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's really, and you always have to be aware of that, because when you are making a program or a magazine or a website and you think that must be interesting for anyone who's interested in games, actually you have to be aware that probably 80% of your target group never heard about it and they don't know what to do with it. So that's, you have to think about it. And if you have a company and you have various media, you really have to think about that only. And especially, I couldn't believe what Frank Matzke told me about Doom. It was like, oh my god, because it's probably it's the same if somebody's talking about Elvis, or as you know, now it's 40 years that Elvis.
Yep.
It's like Elvis, who is it? It's like and then I would say Richard Garriott is just as popular within the games industry as Elvis was in the music industry. But actually, if you know, well, now he has a deal with Travian, and that's a good thing. But he was 20 years ago. He was the man. He was the and also I found out that Tetsuya Mitsurugi was also one of the speakers at DevCon. And he was one of my favorite developers at that time, next to Suzuki. So most of the people, it's like, who is it?
Don't know it, yeah. So the other question is that PC Games is asking every year, one of those magazines you also publish, is PC gaming dead? Is the trend to mobile and and VR classes where you just put the mobile in front, is that killing the PC gaming? What's your perspective?
When I started Amiga Games magazine, we always, at that time, you could hear the PC is dead or the consoles are dying. But actually, none of this happened. And of course, PC gaming was much more popular in Germany. You could sell 1 million copies of one game like Command & Conquer at that time. But still, in my opinion, PC gaming will never die.
Okay.
Just won't die.
Okay.
And also, didn't we hear that there won't be a new console? Actually, I can't imagine that, because it's a good business for Sony and Nintendo, and as long as they are able to have their own IP and present it in a perfect way, I can't. That will be the next PlayStation. That will be the next Nintendo console or the next Xbox, whatever. And there will always be mobile games. As we all know, we have more and more media. As we all know, television didn't kill cinema, radio didn't kill. So we have more possibilities, and in the end, there will be PC games, there will be mobile games, and we all know we all like to play mobile. We all know that especially children or kids, my two sons are playing Clash Royale all the time, or Minecraft or whatever. They're all playing everything. So and there are browser games. There is everything, and I think these things will remain, and none of these things will die. And of course, you have to be very careful when you are a developer what you are working for. Yesterday at DevCom, I heard an interesting talk about from the investor side what you should do, and basically to develop for a mobile platform. That's really a risky thing, because you have Rovio, you have Supercell, you have and they are there, but most of the companies producing mobile games are really having problems. And so basically, if I should develop a game today, I would think about producing a AAA title for consoles or browser game, and I wouldn't choose a mobile platform because it's really, really difficult to make money with it. So, and that's, but it means, but it's easier to produce a simple mobile game, but it's if you want to make money and if you want to have a business, then I would say, well, it's not the best choice to have a mobile game, and you can, if you have the right game on the console or PC or whatever, I think you have more possibilities to make money with it.
But there are good examples, for example, Mortal Kombat X that was released 2 years ago. It was a big hit on the PC and also on the mobile. A lot of people liked it, you know. And
well, if you have the right IP, you can do more, I would say. But if you're on the green pitch, then you should think about what should I develop without any IP, without any brand. I would say it could be tough to have a mobile game.
One thing that we have noticed when we were arranging interviews at this year's Gamescom, a lot of people were actually adding story mode to a game, and suddenly it's an action RPG. While when I say no, it's a beat 'em up, you know,
okay.
Or like Electronic Arts did last year, you know, action soccer. Because FIFA Soccer had a story mode.
Yeah,
so a lot of people are trying to change the genre to make it more attractive by just adding a story mode.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of lame?
I think you always try to adopt the things that the market wants, but in the end the users will tell them whether it makes sense. My impression is that you well, you should concentrate. Is it really fun? Makes it fun or not? And in the end, but I think that's one important thing. It's better to try something, to have a new mixture, to add new elements, than just to imitate the others. So basically, if you're trying to make a clone of Clash Royale, it could be boring. So in the end, I think we should be thankful that all of them are always trying to have a new idea and to try something new, because it would be boring if you have the same all the time. But actually, we will have new Football Manager games. So that's something new, and I'm really looking forward. So Sega, I think, is releasing new Football Manager game. The Football Manager, Bundesliga Manager, has been very popular in Germany. So and that's something new, because to be honest, I was still playing Football Manager by Kevin Toms on the PC as C64 version. So I'm really looking forward to this one, because it's a good old style game.
Or a Sega releasing Sonic Mania.
Oh yes, yeah.
The classic Sonic.
Yeah.
That's something nobody expected.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's yeah. So we all know from time to time you get bored with something. A few years later on, it has something new. So basically, but you always, I think that's very important to change what you're doing all the time and improve. If you're always doing the same. And I think that many of the good brands have been killed because they were having a new version every year with only a few changes. And that's really difficult, I would say. If it's not FIFA, where you have the new clubs and the new players, I think it's difficult if you're only changing smaller things. Then I think it's really difficult with brands like Call of Duty, or to have it every year. I think sometimes it would be better if you have a break for 2 years or 3 years time. Then we don't have a new James Bond movie every year, and because that also would be boring, I would say. And now we know the new Bond movie is coming in 2019, and that's a good gap. And I'm not sure with the Star Wars, with a new Star Wars movie every year, but they are trying a different story.
I see where you are going, yeah. And another example is, we were having an interview with the brand manager, global brand manager Adam Betty at Konami, and also with the brand manager of FIFA Soccer, and they were saying that they don't think that the VR sociable soccer from John Hare is is as any challenge for them, any competition. But he said in an interview last year at Gamescom, he is planning to attack FIFA Soccer and Pro Evolution Soccer with his VR sociable soccer. And he actually, at his booth in the Vettor area, you can actually have a mobile headset, and he made it so that you don't get sick. So even people that usually have sickness from virtual reality won't get it.
Okay.
So what's your opinion about that? Do you think that Konami and EA don't see the competition from the Vetro area, but there is a competition?
Well, first of all, one guess, what do you think I was searching on YouTube yesterday?
Sociable soccer.
Micropro soccer.
Which was also by John here, yes.
And then it was censored. To be honest, I thought in my mind, Micropro soccer looked a little bit different. But sensible soccer was fine. So that was really yesterday. I don't know how I came to this idea, but that was, and I'm basically, with Pro Evolution and FIFA Soccer. These are really huge brands, and they have huge teams, and they know what they are doing, and they know how. And I'm pretty sure that they have done market research about augmented reality and virtual reality, how they could use it in their games. And if they say that it doesn't make sense and they don't see it as a competitor at the moment, I think they know why they're saying. I think that's something else. And I don't know whether you remember, there was at the beginning of the PlayStation, there was a soccer game for the PlayStation with a three-dimensional look, and it just didn't work. And I think the way you play the game, and I really respect John Hare, but I think that's something different. If you take a look at soccer as esports, how they play and what you have to do, it's yes, it's soccer, but it's something different. And I think it's just not possible to have it the same way. And probably you can play both of it, but I don't think that you will play this game instead of FIFA or instead of Pro Evolution. So we all know there are fans of Pro Evolution and there are fans of FIFA, and you can play both of it and like both of it. But actually, well, maybe some people don't see it that way, and I think it's a good addition if somebody else is trying something new. So, I think it's not like Nokia laughing about Apple presenting the iPhone 10 years ago. I think it's not the same, because the way you have to play FIFA, you just can't do it, I think, the other way. I think it's really good to see a new approach, but maybe with FIFA it might get boring, but in the end it's like with the music industry, it's always music stays the same, and you know, we had the Beatles, we had all the stuff, we have all the other music, and still you will have music in 50 years and new music in 100 years. So basically, so hip hop didn't. There you had hip hop, you have rock and roll, you have dance, you have all that kind, and you will have FIFA style game, and you will have new approaches. So I think it's good to have a choice and to what you want to play, and as we all know, FIFA games are the best-selling games every year, and they really will have big research, what's going on, what they could do, and because any media company, any games company was thinking about what can we do with PlayStation VR? Is it something we should do right now? And I think I'm pretty sure they made tests and found out, well, it's interesting, but it's not what our FIFA customer wants to see.
So you think John Hare will have more like a new group of customers and not getting market share from FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer?
I think, as I said, of course, the first target group that he would attract are the players of FIFA Pro Evolution, of course. But I don't think that they will give up playing FIFA Pro Evolution.
Okay. Okay.
So I can't imagine. Probably I'm stupid and I don't have the vision of this. But
of course not.
it's and of course yes, it's a new approach and something new and something fresh. But still we are out there. But in the end, we are looking forward to the new add-on for World of Warcraft. We're looking forward to the new FIFA. We're looking, and you don't say, oh, I want only VR or augmented reality.
But
so
you will try it out when it's released.
Of course, yes.
Because it's a John Hare title, or because it's a new approach to action soccer?
I think it was called Extra Soccer, the one I was mentioning. Extra Soccer it was called. It was by Namco, by the way. I will try it out because it's a new approach, and if the new approach is by John Hare, then you have more. Well, you have to definitely, because every new approach of John Hare is probably. You should think about the cannon fodder with
another example, yeah. So
that was my favorite game by
It's cool. You can meet all the pioneers of the video game industry at one place at Gamescom. It's amazing. So final question: where do you want to go in the next 5 years, personally and with your Computec Media Group?
Personally?
What's your your person approach to the future?
My personal approach to the future is, I want my family and me to stay healthy. That's the most important thing, and have a good life like we had in the past years, and to see my sons growing up more. I think that's the most important thing, and then we're already looking forward to the vacation from Friday on with my wife and my 2 sons. And in terms of professional approach, I was never bored in the past 31 years. In 1986 I signed my first contract, as you know. And there was never a time where I had to think about what do I want to do next. It all just happened.
You're a lucky guy.
Yes, I'm really lucky.
As you say in German, Hans im Glück.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm really lucky, and and also it's I'm just looking forward to it, and I think that's the good thing. You never know what will happen. The only thing I know is it's hard work. Every day you have to take a close look what you're doing. And if you basically, that's how I live. If you think you have reached something, you're beginning to lose.
Okay.
So if you think, oh, now Computec Media is fine. No, it's never. You always have to think, every day you have to think about what's coming next, where you have to be careful, what do you have to improve, what's going on, and if you stop changing things you do, then you are starting to lose. So basically, and I once had a colleague. He was working for one of our magazines, and he was becoming managing editor because he was really doing a good job. And after 2 years' time, he came up in my office and said, "Hans, listen, I've been working really hard the past 2 years, really, really hard. Now I want to lean back and delegate more. I want to control what the staff writers and editors are doing, and I want to lean back." And it was like, oh my God.
Lean back, okay.
It's like,
relax.
Relax, yeah. And to be honest, since in the last 30 years, or 25 years at Computec, there was never less work than before. It was always more pressure, more to do, and you had to find a way how to get along with it. And so basically, what does it mean to stay up there and have a good business? You really have to work every day, and I think to lean back. Actually, I enjoy pointers like this, where you just can think about about the past and talk about the past, and that's really something I enjoy. But on the other hand, every morning I take a look at our sales figures and how is the advertising going and the online reach and all that stuff. What is going on? Is DEFCON doing fine? And there's a lot of pressure going on, and it's. But then that's something we all in this media world we have. You have the possibility to be very close to your business and what is going on, and you have to use it. So we'll see what happens. So far, I'm thankful, and I'm pretty sure that there is always a lot to talk about, to write about this industry, and there are always new people coming in and new approaches, and we will have new products coming out, and we will have new ideas. That's how things are going, and if I take a look at the competitors that have reached a certain market position, I thought, well, that's enough. We are dominating this market, and we don't have to do anything else. We don't have to look forward. Then it's really the beginning of the end, because then you can only lose. It's like if you would only have if you're a games developer and you didn't make the switch from C64 to Amiga to PC to whatever, then it might be difficult to find the market you're looking for, so that's and I think I think it's amazing to have new C64 games and Amiga games coming out, and that's really, and with a good old-fashioned soundtrack, that's something I really like, but still I think it's difficult to make a living out of it only with this. So basically,
it's a hobby.
It's a hobby, yes, and I think if you're really loving it and it makes you feel great, then it's wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to this. But yeah, I think you always have to make a different. Is it for a hobby, or is it for making a living? And for us at Computec, my job is basically to keep the company on track, to make money, and to live in the past wouldn't be enough. So yeah, we have to appreciate what happened in the past, and I think it's good to have this history and to have this knowledge, but you always have to think about the next things coming up, the next console, the next media platforms, or whatever.
Okay.
So,
thank you very much. Very nice interview.
Thank you very much.